Tupelo Country Club. My name is Annabelle, and I am the wedding director and event planner here. We're so happy to have y'all. It's a very special occasion because you are some of the first folks to see this event in the whole wide world. So let's go back to that. Just a little bit of housekeeping before we get started. If you have a cell phone, please silent that at this moment. And if you are not good with technology, like my friend Henrietta, you might just want to turn the dang thing off all the way. Yes. So we are going to have a 15-minute intermission. And lucky y'all, we have nice drinks and snacks to be had at the concession stand. And as you know, what goes in must come out. So lucky for us, the Opera House is just flush with bathrooms. Got one right there, got one in the lobby, got one upstairs. Yes, that's right. So I'm just so thankful that y'all come to our event today. I hope you'll laugh a lot and enjoy yourself. So let's go on with the show. Deep breaths, honey, just like you were in Samantha Sneed's barn doing that goat yoga.
Oh, I love goat yoga. Ever since Samantha got that split unit air conditioner in the barn and gave up that ridiculous hot yoga, I never miss a class. I'd rather smell like a goat than BO.
You would?
Well, yeah. If I smell like a goat, I can just say, "Excuse me, but I've been to goat yoga," and everybody just swoops because who wouldn't love goat yoga? But if I smell like a field hand who's been sweating in the hay barn all afternoon, I really can't put the blame on anybody but me.
I can't believe that makes sense.
The fact is, I'm sweating like a field hand right now because I don't know if my groom is dead or is leaving me at the altar. And for his sake, he had better be dead.
Emily, I know by the time I get done with your hair, Grayson will be standing there waiting for you to prance down that fairway to him. And the way you look in that dress, he'll have nothing on his mind but getting you to Fiji.
He's right. I'm sure he's going to be here real soon.
Really think so, Miss Annabeth?
Of course I do. Now, if you will just excuse me one itty-bitty, teensy-weensy minute. Brock Colson, best man extraordinaire. This is Annabeth, wedding director. I still had your number in my phone from when you and your daddy came to install that air conditioning unit here at the club. You know, when Lovita and her over 50 fairway foxes froze it up because they were falling out like flies because of Mississippi humidity and menopause. Anywho, could you give us a location on the groom? He said not to say anything, but he was going to be late. Well, Brock, if you don't tell me where he is, then I'm just going to march out there and tell all those Baptists that you and Grayson had an intimate moment behind the golf cart shed. So I suggest you tell me where he is so I can ease his bride's mind and we can get this wedding started. Thank you. See you at church Sunday. God bless.
Honey, I wish you would calm down. Your hair, you're going to make your head sweat, and there's only so much I can do with fine hair and humidity. And throw a sweaty head into the mix, and I'm going to have to add another bump to give you some volume.
I can't help it. You've never been stood up at the altar or the 18th hole of the Tupelo Country Club.
about that. It was interesting that you committed yourself to Grayson there, since your family's been members of the First Hope of the Last Chance Baptist Church since the 1800s. I thought for sure you would have gotten married there.
I met Grayson at the 18th hole when I was driving the beer cart. He told me he wanted to get married when a trifecta of his favorite things came together. Beer, golf, and me!
Well, at least you're in the top three. Joe Frank rates to be somewhere between his 7 coon dogs, tasty fruits, and metal detecting.
It was like the triangle of happiness.
You know, I still can't believe your mother let you drive that beer cart and you're having a wet wedding. I'm sure some of the Baptists are in an uproar over that.
My mama didn't care as long as I wasn't drinking any of it. And as far as having a wet wedding, my daddy said there'd be a lot more of an uproar if his daughter was having a dry wedding. I guess he's attended his fair share of Catholic and Methodist weddings, and his friends figured it's their turn to tie one on at his expense. And Mama said, Baptist or not, a dry wedding would just be tacky. I guess Southern social circles trump the Bible sometimes.
Please, a Baptist preacher invented bourbon, and Paul told Timothy to drink wine for his stomachache in the first book of Timothy.
How do you know all this?
I'm a former Baptist that was looking for any reason to drink after my first
Divorce?
Oh, honey, it's all right. I'm sure Grayson is chugging a beer right now, making a long putt, waiting for the final side of his triangle to be complete. But if you don't calm down, I'm going to have to add another bump under this updo. And if your hair falls with 2 bumps, it's going to look like you got a 2-hump camel sitting on your head, or you get hit upside the head twice. Where have you been while I've been here with this bawling bride?
I have located the groom.
Well, he better be dead and not leaving this little girl down at the altar of the 18th hole.
He was hungover and he was barfing his head off, so I gave him one of my magic little pills and about a gallon of Visine for his bloodshot eyes. Then I asked him for his phone.
His phone? Why?
Well, I had to fabricate a text to his bride to ease her mind. I told her that he had accidentally seen a picture of her in her wedding dress on Instagram, and that he had just been overwhelmed and he just was crying his eyes out. And that will explain the bloodshot eyes.
You are good.
Oh, honey, this is not my first rodeo. I'll be in time being the rodeo clown. Let me tell you then, I had to ask him her pet name for him.
Bet you it's Boo or something like that. All the young people are calling each other Boo these days. I can't stand it. Sounds like they're trying to scare each other.
They wouldn't tell me. And I said, Grayson Miller, if you don't tell me, I will march out there and I will tell all those Baptists and Pentecostals that you and Brock had an intimate moment in the hot tub last night. And that now you don't even want to get married. You're on more of a civil union track.
Well, did you find out the name?
I certainly did. It's Poot.
She calls him Poot? Ew.
And I had to sign off that text. And it had to say, yours and yours forever. Poot. See you at the home.
Remind me if I ever get married again to hire you first thing as a wedding director.
Absolutely not. You told the Honeys that you were going to stop with Joe Frank since he's number 6.
Well, I may have spoken too soon.
Henrietta, no!
Let's go get married. He just texted and everything's fine. My sweet Poot.
first meeting of the season of the Tupelo Honeys Service Organization.
Please, can we just call the Tupelo Honeys for what it really is?
And what do you think the Tupelo Honeys really is, Jessie Joe? If it's not a service organization?
An excuse to have cocktails before 5? Why do we have to start all our meetings with this parliamentary procedure stuff?
Because we're not animals, Jessie Joe. Parliamentary procedures keeps our meetings efficient, orderly, and fair.
I make a motion to adjourn this official meeting mumbo jumbo and discuss this year's projects over a martini.
Absolutely not. And Jessie Joe, how many times do I have to ask you not to wear your coveralls to official events of the Tupelo Honeys? There is a dress code in our bylaws.
What about the time that we had our meeting over Zoom? It was hot as Hades. And Henrietta showed up in the nude, not realizing you could see her.
That may have scarred me for life.
Y'all know I'm not good with technology.
Don't worry about it. I would have been naked as a jaybird too if I thought I could have got away with it.
I was naked as a jaybird. I just had enough sense to tilt the computer screen.
Can we get back to the meeting?
Yes, can we? I got to interview Miss Pascagoula at 4.
What do you have to interview her for?
Annabeth, you know pageant season's coming up. All these girls are begging me to be their pageant coach. Y'all know I have coached
5 Miss Mississippis. Yes, Fallon, we know. And I have marched 78 brides down the aisle and managed to not lose one yet. And I have planned 314 events here at the country club, but you don't hear me going around announcing it to everybody.
Well, maybe you should. We should all be proud of our accomplishments.
I'm proud of the fact that I have not been rude like I want to be. Pour us all an adult beverage and lead us onto the veranda so we can pick this year's projects. Instead of making motions and whatnot.
Okay, you win. Why don't you make us all a drink and let's discuss what we're gonna do this year to better the lives of the fine folks of Tupelo.
Not all of them. I'm doing nothing to do better the lives of my exes. Henrietta's House of Hair is paying a pretty penny to keep 3 of them in beer and strippers.
When are you gonna learn your lesson and realize you don't have to marry every boyfriend you have?
I know, I'm just a sucker for the dress, the flowers, and the dancing.
Well, the next time the Tupelo Country Club hosts a junior high school homecoming dance, I will make sure I give you a call so you can get it out of your system. My mother almost broke the bank paying for my wedding dress. Now, it's just draped over a pair of fake boobs in a box from Earlene's Crazy Clean.
Have you ever heard of anybody wearing a dress more than once? I mean, besides their daughter wearing it.
Absolutely not.
You mean to tell me that after 6 husbands, you didn't recycle even one dress, Henrietta?
That would just be rude.
Well, you pulled my hair during a highlight one time because I said that old Mrs. Offense was overrated that year. That was rude.
I'm with Henrietta on that one. You never badmouth the home team.
It would have just been downright tacky to wear the same wedding dress with a different groom.
Tackier than vowing 6 times you would not move on until one of you was dead?
Yeah. You know, next time, maybe you should write your own vows. And you could say something like, till death do us part. Or, until somebody better comes along. How's that? Husband 2.0. Well, that's not right. She's already on 6.0.
The next vow would be said to husband 7.0. And technically the vow would be till death do us part or someone better comes along. And that is referring to husband number 8. I've been keeping up.
I don't consider the vow broken if I wish them dead.
Well, maybe Henrietta has a point. Maybe each ex-husband should be looked at as a mulligan.
How many wedding dresses do you have in your closet?
7. I just couldn't seem to part with any of them. Parting with the husbands was so much easier.
times, why do you have 7 wedding dresses?
Only.
You know, it never hurts to plan ahead.
Henrietta, y'all, Henrietta's romanticizing wearing a wedding dress has given me a brilliant idea.
Elise, are you gonna trade in Luther for a new husband just so you can prance around one night in a wedding dress?
No, I'm not Henrietta.
Hey!
This year's Tupelo Honeys charity ball can be the bridal ball. The ladies can wear their old wedding gowns or new ones.
Yes, I'm going shopping right after this meeting. Joe Frank is at least safe for the time being.
But you already have an extra wedding dress in your closet.
And in case I need it for husband 7.0, he wouldn't have already seen me in it at the bridal ball. I'm so excited.
Well, this is the best ball theme ever, Elise. Brilliant idea.
Yeah, we're one decision closer to a second martini. Good job, Elise.
Well, y'all know me being a wedding planner and all, I just swoon over those dresses wishing maybe I should do it again just so I can wear the dress.
See, I'm not the only one.
Actually, Henrietta, trading in every husband just to be the center of attention in a fancy white dress is just you.
There are plenty of reasons to trade them in, but I shall spare you the details.
Well, this year at least we all get to wear fancy white dresses and all of y'all's husbands are safe.
This year's Tupelo Honeys bridal ball is gonna blow everybody else's balls away.
Let's hope not.
The Dixie Darlings and the Queen Bees won't know what hit them.
All our balls are for charity. We should not be bad-mouthing the Dixie Darlings or the Queen Bee's balls. We should want everyone to have blue ribbon balls.
Do you feel that way about Miss Jackson or Miss Yazoo City?
Okay, you have a point.
It's funny you should seem so diplomatic about our rival service organizations when they found DNA under your fingernails from Miss Picayune. When the crowd turned violent because she beat fan favorite Miss Natchez out of the Miss Mississippi crown. The very Miss Natchez that you coached that year and thought was a sure winner.
It was just a flesh wound. I can't believe they made such a big deal about it.
Well, I'm pretty sure her face was permanently scarred.
Well, it wasn't that pretty to begin with.
Fallon, that is not behavior becoming a Tupelo honey.
Sometimes honey goes bad.
Oh, well, actually, that's very rare due to its low moisture content and bee spit.
Bee spit?
Bees spit a chemical into it. It's like an antimicrobial or something, and that's why it lasts so long. Well, bee spit or no bee spit, the Tupelo honey shelf life is going to be cut short if we're known only for our number of divorces and having a rival's DNA under our fingernails.
Can we get back to business, please?
Well, now that the ball's out of the way, we can talk about the philanthropic endeavors and get back to day drinking. The reason I joined Tupelo Honeys in the first place.
Ladies, looks like we've almost got the entire calendar planned out. Now, we just need to decide on the band for the Wild Turkey season opener. Oh, and we need to decide who's going to be the turkey.
I was the turkey for 2 years, so I am exempt from this drawing. Thank God.
Fallon, you did it last year. Was it really that bad? Don't you want to do it again?
Yeah, Fallon, you focus on people being the center of attention, parading around, strutting in costumes. I think you should be the turkey every year, and then we can skip this drawing.
Oh, hell no. Even though it was a year ago, it feels like it was yesterday. Y'all, those orange stockings, they itched so bad, and I couldn't scratch them with the feathered wings. I ended up making a deal with one of the drunk Hunting Lodge owners, and he scratched my legs for 5 minutes in the back coat room of the country club.
You did what? Fallon, even when you're dressed as a turkey at the Wild Turkey Season opener, you are still representing the Tupelo Honeys. That could have been scandalous if word had gotten out. What kind of deal did you make with him, pray tell? I'm horrified to hear that answer.
Well, the next weekend, I had to wear that turkey costume again, without the orange hose, of course, and I went and sat out by Lake Edith to try and attract some turkeys.
That's the deal this man made.
Yeah, I didn't think he'd hold me to it, though. He was really handsome, and I figured worst case scenario that he'd get me out there in the woods and want to stay in his truck to make out with me. But no such luck. That man was hell-bent on getting a turkey that morning.
Well, did he?
Apparently, I'm a very desirable turkey in that costume. He shot the biggest turkey I ever saw in all my life, not 10 feet from me. It scared the daylights out of me.
I had no idea, Fallon.
I guess you could say I took one for the Tupelo Honeys team.
That's dedication. Well, this year we have Henrietta, Annabeth, and Mary Frances in the rotation to be the turkey. That means in 3 years' time, all the names go back in the pot and we start all over.
There has got to be a better way.
It's a rite of passage.
It has passed us. I'll donate the turkey's salary if we can just put this tradition to bed.
We can put it to bed when we finish this last rotation. This year's turkey for the Wild Turkey Season opener is Mary Frances Fielding.
And she's not even at the meeting to hear the good news.
Where is Mary Frances? It's not like her to miss such an important Tupelo Honeys meeting.
That's true. She has an appointment with me to get her grays covered on Monday. I'm sure she'll tell me then.
Maybe she met somebody on that golden oldies dating website and is otherwise occupied.
I could have gone the rest of my life without envisioning that.
Well, when she told me that she was gonna join an online dating site, I was thrilled for her. Harvey's been dead 11 years, y'all. I mean, she deserves some happiness.
I do not believe in online dating. Personally, I think it's the fastest way to be featured on a true crime episode.
You mean more than hopping into the back of a pickup truck at the crack of dawn with me we just met a week before at the turkey season opener?
The man you went into a closet with so he could scratch your hose-covered legs?
Who took you to the woods with a gun?
And you went gladly? Okay, I admit that was not my finest moment.
You think?
Are we still planning to do an update for your wedding?
I don't know, I guess, do whatever you think will look good.
like 100 pictures. Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure, Miss Henrietta, I trust you. Whatever you do will be just fine.
Whatever you do will be just fine. In all my years of wedding directing, I have never heard a bride utter those words.
Unless what?
What is in that ridiculously large cup, Rebecca Ann?
A little libation, no big deal. Just a little something to help the bride with her pre-wedding jitters.
What type of libation?
Does that really matter?
Well, it certainly does. A pre-wedding mimosa is going to be a lot different than a pre-wedding Long Island iced tea.
It's neither, I promise, Miss Annabeth. It's really no big deal.
What is it?
It's a bullfrog.
A what?
A bullfrog. A bullfrog is a combination of gin, vodka, rum, tequila, and blue curacao.
Don't forget the Red Bull.
And Red Bull.
Oh, and that's not my only secret.
I don't want to know anything about G-strings and all that mess. I couldn't imagine having something like that riding up my butt all night.
No, that's not it. In fact, it's far from it.
What the hell?
You took the words right out of my mouth.
It's a bridal diaper.
Oh, you damn.
And it says bride in a lovely cursive font right across her derriere. That beats all I've ever seen. And that includes watching a Cinderella bride choke out her Sleeping Beauty bridesmaid with Rapunzel's braid.
Well, the bridal lady salon told me about it because it would be such a booger to wrestle with this dress when I tried to use the bathroom. Plus, she carried them right there in the store.
You mean like, how about the spit and flare? Or princess ball game? Some long white gloves? A tiara? Or perhaps a personalized adult incontinence diaper?
I'll be damned.
And she's wearing it of her own volition. And she's not even sneezing and peeing yet.
It's super thin and super absorbent. This way, I don't have to miss out on any of the fun trying to wrestle with this dress. Can you imagine trying to fit this into the bathroom stall with me?
I'll be damned.
I figure I'm good from the beginning of the wedding until midnight. If not, I'm covered.
You do realize that Red Bull has a lot of caffeine, and caffeine is a diuretic.
Well, at least it's not a diarrhea addict. That would be much worse. Cheers. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, what?
Let's just say I'm glad I have this bridal diaper on.
I'll be damned.
Uh-oh.
Another uh-oh?
Well, this bridal diaper either isn't very absorbent or watertight. I think. I have pee on my dress, and I'm walking down the aisle in less than an hour.
Well, maybe you should have thought about that before you started slamming that bullfrog.
I've ruined everything.
You have almost ruined everything. I'm going to get you a strong cup of coffee to counteract the effects of the bullfrog. And Henrietta, you go get a blow dryer. I'm going to wash out the unfortunate spot. Then I'll blow dry it while you're finishing her hair.
Thank you, Miss Annabeth.
Ah, don't thank me. I have a brawling and body fluids clause that adds a hefty surcharge to your contract. too old for this.
As a junior member of the Tupelo Honeys, you couldn't have picked a better project. Now, when I was a provisional, my project had been planned since I was 16.
We don't all enjoy the same things, Fallon. Pageants are your thing. You've been doing them since your mama walked you down the aisle at the Holiday Inn conference room in the Miss Most Beautiful Baby of Mississippi pageant.
I can't help it, everybody thought I was such a beautiful baby.
What happened?
Very funny! You know, the Miss Tupelo Honey pageant put this chapter on the map. And pageants are a great way to earn scholarships and to just raise money. It's a win-win.
She's right, Jessie Joe. That pageant raises an obscene amount of money every year for the Tupelo Parks Department.
Just the entry fees for the Miss Photogenic Award brought in enough to put in a new slide over at Chestnut Park.
That old slide kept Dr. Patel in business, treating numerous burns from the hot metal and countless tetanus shots from the rusty sharp edges.
And problem solved. Thank you, Miss Tupelo Honey, most photogenic.
Most photogenic, my tail. You know good and well those girls photoshopped the Hades out of those pictures.
Well, it may not bring in as much as the Tupelo Blue Suede Cruise, but people look forward to my pageant every year, and I will get it sanctioned to be a qualifier for Miss Mississippi if it's the last thing I do and it kills me.
When y'all told me that it's my provisional, I had to get in 100 hours, I picked a project to get it done as quick as possible. I had no idea it would take off like it did.
It's really not fair how I have to work my buns off for the pageant and you get to sit on your buns driving around in circles all day.
I'm pretty sure it's an oval.
Whatever.
It was the easiest way I knew how to get my hours in. Who knew that the Tupelo Blue Suede Cruise Race would be sanctioned by NASCAR?
And who knew our very own Tupelo Honey would become a famous race car driver?
Still hard to believe that creating the Blue Suede Cruise just to get my hours in would take off like it did.
It's certainly been a boon to Tupelo's economy.
Not to mention my favorite charity.
Oh, I think we can all agree that the Humane Society is very deserving of all that money you raise. And their little Chihuahua mascot that wears that Elvis wig, he's so cute.
I don't know how much longer I can keep working the pit crew. I'm getting too old for this.
Now, Elise, think about the puppies.
I do think about the puppies, but I'm getting too old to be changing out tires on a race car in record time.
In the arms of the angel.
Do not sing that song, Fallon.
Where is Mary Frances? Henrietta and Annabeth had a wedding, so they had an excuse.
You know, I've been calling her all week and no answer. I drove by her house and her car wasn't there either. She's on the verge of being put on probation with the Honeys.
Oh, the horror.
I do not take these things lightly, Jessie Joe. As president, I have to maintain a certain level of accountability from our members. Heaven forbid we end up like the queen bees.
Oh, y'all, I cannot believe that they let Mimi McIntyre into the Queen Bees. You know, she used to be a stripper.
The queen bees have just gone to the dogs.
How do we know none of the Tupelo Honeys have ever been a stripper? No one's ever asked me.
Oh my Lord. Are you trying to put me in my grave? Jessie Joe, are you a former stripper?
Oh, get your panties out of the water, please. I was never a stripper, but I was close.
How were you close to being a stripper? I mean, either you took your clothes off in public or you didn't.
Wait a minute. I was gonna tell y'all. When I attended my first NASCAR race, when I was the winner of Miss Hawaiian Tropic of Biloxi, I was practically naked. I had on a bikini and the bottom was a G-string.
Fortunately, that doesn't count, even though you were showing your butt.
Well, I didn't think it counted, but now I think the answer has changed. I think technically I was a stripper.
What do you mean?
Oh Lord, we're gonna be the talk of the service organization circuit.
Fallon said you either took your clothes off in public or you didn't. Well, now that I think about it, I have. Therefore, it qualifies me as a stripper.
The Tupelo Honeys have a Mimi McIntyre among us.
Oh, relax, Elise. I wasn't showing off what the good Lord gave me down at the Dancing Dollhouse. It was a senior party at the Blue Hole on Highway 69.
Well, I never got invited to any parties over at the Blue Hole.
Maybe they didn't think you were fun.
I was plenty fun.
Were you skinny dipping with the football team fun?
I hope the Honeys survived this scuttlebutt about the Blue Hole porn incident.
I scuttled my naked butt at the Blue Hole years ago. It hasn't been my downfall, or the Tupelo Honeys' downfall, yet.
And to think, I thought the queen bees were scraping the bottom of the barrel.
You were saying,
What in hell's bells?
I'll let Annabeth explain this. Let's just say I had to be the fat Ellis, and I'm keeping up with the charade. The buffet is having an all-you-can-eat rib buffet. Anybody want to join me for some wine and swine tonight?
I will, I'm famished.
Oh yeah, it must have been brutal sitting on a cushy seat turning left for 3 hours while we were dragging around your fuel containers and spare tires.
I certainly hope no one recognized y'all waltzing in here looking like that. That's all we need in addition to the stripper at the Blue Hole over here. The what? Never mind. It's a long story, but probably not nearly as long of a story as whatever explains those two get-ups. Of all days, for Rufus McElroy to have a hernia and Ronald Johnson to have to deliver a calf. I warned Betsy Mulligan that if she wanted her wedding officiated by the Elvises, not to plan it during cowboy season.
Well, in her defense, the Elvises are always booked up except during college football season, and who would dare get married during the fall in the South if you actually wanted anybody to show up?
Go Rebels!
Oh, and any bride who wants to wear a beautiful dress knows it's just too cold in the wintertime.
And everyone's got the good sense to steer clear of hurricane season.
Well, when I heard that Rufus and Ronald weren't gonna make it, I knew I had to jump into action. Clearly. I knew getting ordained online was gonna come in handy one day. What about Henrietta? She's not ordained. No need. All she had to do was repeat a few ahunka-hunkas and insert some pelvic thrusts in between the vowels. Good Lord!
Where did y'all get these costumes?
Fallon, this is Tupelo, Mississippi, the birthplace of Elvis, the king of rock and roll. We are swimming in Elvis costumes.
You wouldn't believe the ridiculous amount of money that Rufus and Ronald get paid to do this gig. It's definitely easier than trying to make Rozilla happy with her ridiculous updo requests.
Exactly. Henrietta and I made $500 each.
You're looking at the new the fabulous Elvis and the not so young but get her done Elvis.
That's right. With Henrietta's cosmetology license and my wedding directing license, and the fact that I am an ordained minister, we are going to have the complete Elvis wedding package and make a mint.
Chin up, Elise. We're not gonna let the Queen Bees win the most scandalous service organization victory. Clearly, the Tupelo Honeys play to win.
Now, I don't know about y'all, but this Elvis is ready for some wine and swine.
goodness you ladies were available on such short notice.
That's right. We are a one-stop shop for getting betrothed, even with only 2 weeks' notice.
Oh, these things are still sore.
Oh my.
Yeah, a wedding gift from Harold.
How unorthodox, but the heart wants what the heart wants.
And in this case, the heart wanted a chest, I guess.
Well, when I got to thinking about possibly getting married again and how much money goes into that little ring on your finger, I got a little crazy. I said, Harold, if you ever propose, don't you go hog wild on a ring. Buy me some new boobs.
Well, that's very practical. You might be the first practical bride I've ever done hair for, and you're definitely the first practical bride I've ever been an Elvis for.
Oh, let's just state the obvious. I'm probably the oldest bride you've ever done hair for.
I did my own hair for my 4th, 5th, and 6th wedding, so not really.
Oh my.
Ignore her. Henrietta's a real bitch and very difficult to get along with. I am sure your marriage is going to be long and happy.
I am not.
Or it could be the fact that she just has an unhealthy obsession with wearing wedding dresses. Both are distinct possibilities.
Hey!
Anywho, you were saying?
Well, I'm afraid the years have turned me into quite a practical person. You know how people who lived through the Depression would save their hair to stuff mattresses or put it in the attic to keep the squirrels out?
Actually, I don't.
Well, I might not be Depression era practical, but I am practical nonetheless. Anyway, instead of a ring, I got these. No doubt we're both gonna enjoy these. And this home shopping channel Dominique looks really authentic, don't you think?
Well, honestly, who can tell the difference?
So, non-traditional, but you are a non-traditional bride, or else I wouldn't be standing here dressed up like Elvis, now would I?
I know most brides like to have at least a year to plan the wedding after getting engaged, but when you're my age, you gotta get things moving. I just needed someone to ask me, do I or don't I? And y'all were the first ones with an opening.
Well, how long have you been engaged, Prissy?
2 weeks.
Well, no wonder they're sore.
When you've waited just about half your life for a man to propose, visions of the knee and the perfect ring, those visions just don't matter so much anymore. You'd be just as happy with, hey, I was thinking, we should get married. You know, over bites of a bottomless salad and breadsticks. And that is just how Harold proposed that glorious Tuesday evening at Olivia's garden.
Oh, how romantic.
Yes. How?
Oh, where did you get this belt? It's just gorgeous.
Don't you even think about it.
I was just gonna say, she should send pictures of it to the bridal shop.
As much as this photographer is charging me, it had better feel like I'm being stalked by the paparazzi at this wedding.
You know, they are charging an arm and a leg these days, but these pictures are like something out of a magazine.
It's true. You have to decide if you want traditional or photojournalistic or whatever. They even had me make a list of people I hate so they could put them on the outside of the group. That way, the photographer can go in later and crop them out and save the picture.
Well, I'm gonna be checking to see if I'm being put on the end a lot.
Oh, honey, my main conversation with that photographer was all about angles. You see, a girlfriend enlightened me on the fact that you can shave off 10 years just by being photographed from a slightly higher angle. I told that photographer he better be swinging from the rafters at my wedding.
just don't know. Last time somebody missed their appointment to get their hair covered, it was Vivian Maxwell. And the next time I covered her roots, it was in the Gone Home to Glory Funeral Home in Pascagoula.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Everybody misses an appointment from time to time. If my dog groomer did not give me the courtesy text each month, little Liberace be the most mad Maltese in town.
That's the thing, Jessie Joe. I sent her a courtesy text and she still didn't show up. So I thought, well, maybe she was just out of town or she didn't have service or something. So knowing how important her roots are to her, I went ahead and scheduled her another appointment, which she also missed.
Henrietta's right. She's missed 2 meetings of the Tupelo Honeys as well, and she's the social chairman. It's not like Mary Frances to miss a meeting with complimentary martinis.
I told y'all it was not a good idea for her to join that online dating website. Meeting up with people you met online spells true crime every time.
Well, that is the pot calling the kettle black, Fallon. Miss, yes, I will go into a dark closet with you and let you scratch my turkey thighs. And yes, I will get into your truck with you and your gun and head to an undisclosed wooded location.
Why are you wearing your Elvis costume? Are you doing Elvis behind my back?
Excuse me? Maybe I should ask you if you're two-timing me with Elvis.
Can we get back to our probably murdered and dismembered friend?
I think y'all would be shocked at the number of people that are meeting through online dating services these days.
I'm always doing hair for people that are finally meeting their pen pals in person.
Knowing my luck, I would get catfished and then sex-torted by some old lady in Bangladesh or something.
Henrietta's right. There's a dating app for everybody these days. For seniors, it's golden oldies and silver singles. For farmers, it's we grow together. Even NASCAR's gotten in on it for our fans.
Let me guess. Fast cars and faster women.
No, Elise, Earnhardt and souls.
There's a dating website for hairdressers, but as you can imagine, it's not for someone of my sexual orientation.
Saved by the homosexual hairdressing dating app. Or otherwise, I figured you'd be on there catting around for an excuse to go back to the bridal shop.
I've already bought another dress, and this was just gorgeous.
What in the world has Joe Frank done for you to already be looking for another husband?
It's for the Tupelo Honeys bridal ball.
Joe Frank only knew he was saved by the Tupelo Honeys balls.
Jessie Joe's probably right. If we have the Tupelo Honey Bridal Ball every year, we could probably save a lot of marriages. Henrietta can't be the only one who gets an itch to wear a new wedding dress every few years.
We're out here saving marriages and hopefully saving lives. Y'all, can we get back to the disappearance of sweet Mary Frances?
Well, y'all know I am a romantic at heart, so instead of all this doom and gloom, I like to hold fast to the notion that some golden oldie swept Mary Frances off her feet. She's on a romantic Italian vacation, sitting in a gondola, sipping wine or something.
We're laying in some shallow grave in some Hollywood.
How can you think such things?
Because I also like true crime shows, but unlike Fallon, I'm not going to be a statistic.
I am not planning on being a statistic either.
2 words, turkey legs.
All right, I admit it was not my best moment.
I'm surprised it wasn't your last moment.
This is not about me. Can we get back to the fact that Mary Frances is gone and none of her best friends know where she is?
I feel like we've exhausted every resource. No husband, no children. Her one living sibling is down at the Magnolia Oaks retirement home, and he thinks he's Engelbert Humperdinck. You know, I've heard that he's very popular with the ladies there, and supposedly he keeps a do not disturb sign in his back pocket.
My cousin Lydia is a nurse there, and she says the residents are getting it on more than a bunch of Fort Lauderdale spring breakers.
The vision of Fallon being curled up in a Tupelo Country Club coat closet with a random turkey hunter has now been replaced by Engelbert and the booty call babes of the Mobile Retirement Home.
Can we get back to the situation at hand here and the fact that no one has heard hide nor hair from Mary Frances in several weeks?
Fallon's right. We need to stay on topic here and brainstorm the reasons why Mary Frances hasn't contacted anyone, why she's not answering the phone or her door.
Maybe she doesn't want to talk to us.
Very funny. That's not it. I drove by her house every day this week. There is no sign of life. She hasn't checked her mail. Hold on. How do you know that? Surely you didn't violate the sanctity of her mailbox. That's a felony. No, it's not. I Googled it. You can look at somebody's mail all you want to while it's still in the box. You just can't take it out of the box or open it unless they're dead.
I'm filing that away.
Why? You planning on stalking somebody's mail?
You never know what might come in handy. What I thought was a felony 2 minutes ago has turned out to be perfectly legal. Just kind of makes me want to file through certain people's mailboxes.
Well, you can do that on your own time to psych out your competition or for whatever bizarre voyeuristic reason you want. But we need to figure out what happened to Mary Frances, and we need to do it soon because I got to interview Miss Bay St. Louis at 7.
You are coaching Vanna Barksdale? She is a fan favorite to take the Miss Mississippi crown this year.
Just wait till you see her talent. Oh, that baton, it's gonna look like a magic wand going across the stage.
Oh, Miss Texas won Miss USA 3 years ago with a baton throwing routine.
Oh, Fallon, still coaching prospective Miss Mississippi's lofty goals.
And exactly why have you barged into the impromptu meeting of the Tupelo Honeys, Eleanor? Shouldn't you be down in the conference room with your queen bees?
I heard the honeys were up in the parlor being loud and disorderly. I came to see what the ruckus was.
Well, I hardly think that's any of your business, Eleanor.
I hear one of your honeys is MIA.
You needn't worry about the honeys. You need to worry about your queen bees leaving the hive after they initiated Mimi McIntyre, not knowing she used to be a premier dancer at the Dancing Dollhouse in Jackson.
I wouldn't get too bent out of shape over that. The dancers at the Dancing Dollhouse can only dance topless.
How dare you speak about a queen bee with such accusations?
Oh, it's not an accusation, it's a fact. But frankly, I don't know why you care. I mean, half the queen bees were showing their boobs to God and everybody at the Mardi Gras parade in Biloxi. So I figure it's about
That's not true.
Oh, yes it is.
How would you know?
Because I was across the street doing the same thing. Please, we are not the pearl-clutching 1950 era's Tupelo Honeys or queen bees.
We're having a crisis here. I don't care who showed their boobs to who.
Whom?
Whatever. Y'all, Mary Frances is missing. I'm ready to go to the police.
She's right. Mary Frances is missing. We're dilly-dallying here, talking about Mardi Gras parades and pageants and Engelbert Humperdinck's booty calls.
Dear God. Elise, your organization has completely gone to the dogs.
It might have, Eleanor, but we're still better than the bees.
That's
We
right.
are bees.
I never. I might have had some information that would have been helpful in finding your missing honey. But it looks like now, you'll never know.